Howdy y'all, it's Allison, back with some more relatable content. So let's talk about the Quantum Leap novels again, shall we? It's gonna be just as geeky and niche as the last video where I talked about a Quantum Leap novel, except in this one I look way hotter. So I did talk a little bit about the history of these, but in case you need a refresher, the Quantum Leap novels were almost all published after the show was off the air, though some of them started before that, which led into some things that I'll get into later. But basically, the novels explored a lot of things that the show could not or would not. So the books follow the basic canon of the show, but they could branch off into other things that maybe lends itself better to this kind of medium, but also a lot of things that were maybe a little risky for the show, or they just wanted to experiment with it, or whatever. A lot of them kind of have gimmicks to them, and try to kind of differentiate themselves from the other novels or standard stories that you would see on the show, which leads to a lot of very bizarre things that I absolutely adore. Now I gotta preface this. The Quantum Leap novel authors were almost all fanfiction authors, and as someone who enjoys writing and reading fanfiction myself, I don't want to be attacking the authors on these, because a lot of these I absolutely loved. So I just want to say right here, I really respect them for what they've done. I think they're all probably very nice people. I've never met them. So when I'm going to be talking about these, it's just the content of the books. And when I talk about these, I'm not even talking about it in a bad light. I genuinely love all of the stuff I'm going to be talking about here. Mostly. If you're not familiar with the show, go look it up, watch the intro, it's going to explain the whole thing. Otherwise, you're going to be a little confused by this video. So I'm going to be talking about the craziest, most off-the-wall things that happened in the Quantum Leap novels, out of 20 books. Without any further ado, here's the top 10 wildest moments from the Quantum Leap novels. Firstly, honorable mentions. Sam leaps into a psychic and has visions, doesn't really go anywhere. Sam meets Al right after he comes home from Vietnam, immediately takes him to a disco. A prequel novel whose ending contradicts what happens in the pilot, thus making a prequel novel pointless. Number 1, Grandma Incest Novel. I cannot make a list about the wildest moments in these novels without having this on it, because it is one of the wildest books in the series. Summary for those who did not watch the video, though you should. Sam leaps into the Revolutionary War, into one of his ancestors, has to romance one of his relatives. There's a lot of incest, it's weird. Apple pies. Number 2, Al threatens to kill a man and then makes him wet his pants. Yes, there is actually a scene in a Quantum Leap novel where a man wets his pants because Al is threatening his life. There's a pants wetting scene in a Quantum Leap novel. Part of the plot of this is that a woman in the present day claims that she is Sam's wife, first wife, and that he just did not tell them about her. Al thinks that there is a bunch of baloney going on here, and a lot of legal threats are brought up, and basically he is pissed. And what I love about this is that it shows that Al is willing to do anything for Sam, and you would absolutely believe that this would happen if the show showed more things from the future present day, as it were. But it was still a pretty darn funny moment. This was one of my favorite Quantum Leap novels, though. The characterization is absolutely stellar in this. There's a lot of funny moments. They really get who the characters are and explore a little more of the emotional elements that the show touched on slightly, but didn't really delve too much into about the people in the project that are left behind. So that's what I really enjoyed about it. And then they also let Al just kind of go crazy for a little bit. Number 3, a brothel madam threatens to blow Al's dick off. Oh boy. This actually happens. There is a brothel madam with a gun pointed at Al's dick, threatening to shoot it off. This happens. And this was one of the more light-hearted novels. You know, a lot of these are very dramatic, but this one was about a dance competition, and it goes into the past of one of the characters from the project, and also talks about a teacher that he's got to help along the way. By the way, the character focusing on Gushy, one of the more comedic characters from the show, because this has to do with his past, he's hiding out at a brothel somewhere, and Elle's got to go find him and figure out what's going on. Very strange, very funny. Dick shooting. Number 4! This is sort of like a multi-part thing, so I gotta kind of go into the story of this before I explain what's so wild about it. So Too Close for Comfort. This is one that involves Sam meeting Al in the past, and a lot of the novels try to shoehorn this in. Like, there are so many times where Sam meets Al's past self. Like, how many times is his life affected by Sam just leaping in? Like, just his entire life, all of these things where apparently his best friend was part of all of these things in his life. But this is a very interesting one, because Al is not wanting him to get involved with what's going on with his life in the past, and he doesn't want him to affect him being involved with the project because it could change the circumstances that brought him there. This leads to the craziest thing. So Sam is not there directly for Al, he just happens to meet him and coincide with his life while he is helping someone else. So Al gets kind of caught up in what's going on, the past Al. And they end up stopping a mall burglary together where Al gets shot. And then they imply that Sam is behind Al's fashion sense. Like, apparently he has crazy fashion sense because Sam inspired it. I don't know. Like, he gives him a wacky tie as a gift in the hospital, and then apparently that influences his entire aesthetic for the rest of his life. This kid that he stopped a mall burglary with. Like, does everything need to have an origin? One of these books has an origin story for Sam's hair swirl. Like, it can't just be it was a white stripe that just happened naturally, like in real life with Scott Bakula. It has to be like some nefarious person hit him in the head with a gun and then it grew in white after that. I just don't understand. Anyway, this was a wild book. It was a fun read, and moving on. Number 5. Sam meets the Loch Ness Monster. Which is not really that out of the realm of the show, considering vampires and Bigfoot and aliens all exist in the canon of the show. I mean, it's one of those things where they're basically treating it like it's not real, and then in the end it's a wah-wah, which is exactly like the show. And I wish I could say that I enjoyed this book more than I did, but I didn't. It was one of the weakest Quantum Leap novels. I really did not enjoy this, and it's a little bit spoiled on the cover, because it's got the Loch Ness Monster on the cover, so you know it's gonna show up. It's actually not really about finding the Loch Ness Monster. I would have liked to read a story about Sam looking for the Loch Ness Monster and having cryptid adventures, but this did not happen until the very end, where the Loch Ness Monster shows up. And it's almost implied that he eats the person Sam leaped into. He's bending down to eat him, and then Sam leaps out. And yeah, okay, the guy is in the future later, so it's like, he didn't get eaten. It was very, very strange. Very, very strange. So, that was Loch Ness Leap. Number 6. I hate this book. And I apologize to Carol Davis with Esther D. Reese. I do apologize for the authors of this, but I hated this book so much. It's basically a finale for the book series, and trying to be a finale without being a finale, because all of these are contained within the span of the show before the actual ending. So it's a lead up to the ending. Completely pointless. It's so out of character. Everyone talks like a dude bro in it. I would give my left nut for Sam to come home. Is that something I would say? Is it something you would say? Because he says it in this book. Sam talks about a kid getting laid. He says at least he got laid. Is that something Sam Beckett would do, talk about someone getting laid? Awful. Just awful. The reason that I bring up how pointless it is, because there is no point to the leap in the end. It just... Oh, by the way, this happened. It's important to why this is a wild moment. There's some interesting ideas that are never really fully explored in this, I think. And they involve Sam's brother Tom in with the leaps, and he finds out what was going on with Sam because he thinks that Sam is just dead and they're trying to hide it. And they think that Sam is going to die, and they think because Tom is the most genetically related to him there, that he will be able to go into the accelerator and basically leap into him and leap Sam back. And this ends up going wrong. Tom briefly leaps into someone else and then gets kicked out, and this kills the man. They kill someone. They just straight up kill. So the project is responsible for the murder of an innocent person. Mirror's Edge. Number 7. You want to talk about wild stories. The plot for foreknowledge is crazy. But it is an interesting idea, and one that a lot of people have kind of asked about the show that they never really adequately explored, which is, do the Leapies remember what happens after Sam leaps into their life? And you don't really know. You can assume they probably remember the important things, otherwise some of the leaps would just be pointless. But you don't really know. And what happens to the people that get the short end of the stick? And that is explored in this novel. The woman that this centers on is serving a jail sentence for something that she does not remember happening. And that was Sam's involvement, because she was involved with this criminal activity of some sort. Anyway, while she's in jail, she ends up going crazy. And she remembers Sam's face, and she becomes obsessed with him. Which leads to her tracking him down in the past, because she's in the past from where the present is. So she tracks down the past Sam, carrying a jar of formaldehyde to put his heart in. Jar of formaldehyde to put his heart in. Tracking down past Sam. That is insane. And then Al has to leap to save past Sam. And it's this whole other thing going on, which is just absolutely incredible. Number 8. So if you've watched Quantum Leap, you might remember there was an episode called Another Mother, which was about them trying to save a boy from a kidnapping. And he's got a little sister who is young enough that she can see Sam and Al as they really are. And she's played by Troian Bellisario, who you might remember from Pretty Little Liars. She's a pretty famous actor now. But she is the daughter of the show creators, Donald Bellisario and Deborah Pratt. And she played this little girl, Teresa Bruckner. Then at the end of the episode, it's this sad thing where Al doesn't want to go and leave her, but they gotta leap out. And the little girl is asking him if he's ever gonna come back, and he says that he will. And of course he won't, so, you know, they leave, and it was this broken promise, which is really sad. So apparently this book, they were trying to rectify this. They leap back into Teresa's life as an adult. It's actually a pretty good book, and it was nice to see them sort of follow up on this. But then it gets a little bit like, what the fuck? So first of all, there's a lot of stuff about Al in this. It's very good Al character stuff. But it's also a little melodramatic. Because it's Christmas time around the project, and Al's sad because his dad died around Christmas, because of course he died around Christmas. Very cliched. Anyway, the whole basis of the book is that they have to save Teresa's life, and they do. And then randomly at the end, it's revealed that she died of cancer anyway. Not only that, she dies of cancer and becomes an angel. So she visits Al as an angel who died of cancer just like his father. Merry Christmas, everyone! Oh boy. I'm glad this was the conclusion for this character. I think we all knew this was how it was gonna go for her. What the hell? What the hell, guys? What the hell? Angels unaware. Number 9. Search and Rescue is probably my favorite, or one of my favorite Quantum Leap novels. Al joins Sam on a leap. Lightning strikes, and he is a leaper too. There is a plane crash, and Sam is part of the rescue party, and Al is in the plane crash, and so he's gotta rescue him. Search and rescue. There's also stuff to do with like magical Native Americans, which is very cliched and stereotypical, but quite amazing. Some dream journeys. There's a lot of stuff about Sam and Al like dreaming about each other on this leap. Very surreal things going on. Look at this cover. I don't know if you can see it very well. I'll have to do a scan or something. But Sam's got some amazing guy liner going on. They got rid of his crow's feet too, so it's like he's like male model Sam Beckett. Like he's modeling the hell in front of that plane crash there. That is some good stuff. This book is one of the ones that goes with the mind leap theory, which is a big geeky thing, but if you want to know, basically in the show, the way that leaping works is that Sam replaces the person with his own body. It's just the aura around him looks like the person, but it is Sam's body. And they didn't establish that for a long time on the show. They didn't really say, you know, was it his mind swapping with this other person, or was it his actual body there? And eventually they did establish that, but when the novels started, they didn't know that, and so they went with the mind leaping theory. So the novels sort of depending on which one you're reading, kind of go with that. So they sort of alternate from canon in that way. This one, thank God it's the mind leaping, because eventually, this is the moment that I put this on the list for. Al is mauled by a bear. There is a part in this book where Al is in the woods and a bear catches him, mauls the shit out of him. Amazing. I didn't expect to read a Quantum Leap novel and have a bear mauling in it. Like, if someone told me, hey, shouldn't we have a bit where Al fights a bear, I'd be like, show it to me yesterday. And this novel gave me just that. Number 10. The Quantum Leap novels love gimmicks, and this is the most gimmicky of all the gimmicky setups. Absolutely great. So I want to say that this is going with the mind theory and not the body, but who knows? Sam leaps into a set of twins. It's not just one of them, it is both of them. He is split into two Sams. One of them has the positive, nice characteristics, and one of them has the pessimistic, bad characteristics. So there is a good and evil Sam. Not only that, the bad Sam almost causes a nuclear holocaust. It can't just be, like he's having a hard time deciding if he wants to continue leaping or not, which is part of that, that he's like, oh, maybe I could just take over this guy's life and then I don't have to leap anymore. He's making some, some darker decisions there, and that's something to explore. But it can't just be that. It has to be he almost annihilates the country, half the world, I don't know, but he almost causes a nuclear holocaust. And that is absolutely a splendiferous idea for a plot in a Quantum Leap novel. Good and evil Sam. Absolutely delightful. I absolutely 100% recommend checking out this book. It is one of the most entertaining Quantum Leap novels, one of the craziest concepts, just sweet, sweet reading. And this is my top wildest moment from the Quantum Leap novels. Good and evil Sam, good stuff. So that's it, that's my bit. I just want to thank all of the writers of these for putting themselves out there and writing just some crazy off-the-wall stuff, absolutely bonkers, just a lot of great stuff that I loved exploring that wasn't seen on the show. It was a great use of the medium. Lots of very different concepts that I really appreciated, just taking that chance. For better or for worse, I was never not entertained. So if you guys want to check out these novels, I recommend seeing, what plots sound cool to you and checking them out, because they're all super cheap to get, quality work. It's a good time. Piles of reading, just fun stuff. See you guys next time. Keep on leaping.